You can't show me one person on the planet who is functioning normally and they just eat food once a week. So if you understand that, why would you eat this once a week? And then people wonder why they're weak in the faith. There might be a sermon on Sunday, right? Great sermon. But that medicine that you receive or that food that you receive that day might not necessarily speak to your problems. A lot of times it's almost like a dopamine hit. It gets you strengthened and motivated to go and fight your battles throughout the week. But what happens when Monday come? You can't go to church every day and hear a sermon. The preacher only preaches once a week, and he teaches on twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. So where's that word that picked you up on Sunday? It got to be there Monday. It has to be somewhere Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and Saturday. It has to be a part of your daily life. Just like you don't eat just once a day, you eat at least 3 times a day. That has to be a part of your daily routine. If it's mornings, if it's in the morning, you're reading a verse. At lunch, going over your index cards. Coming home, driving in the car or on the train, you listening to some type of Christian apologetics, audio, text, memory verse, whatever you do. Constantly sharpening your sword, constantly improving your armor, making it stronger so that you can stand against the wiles of the devil. Because anybody could be used. Your own self can be used to bring you down, your own thoughts, because there's two natures inside of you. Your sinful nature wants to take control, but that new man that you're building, you have to feed it. You have to starve your old self. You cannot try to live, you can't live in the world and sprinkle a little Christianity in your life. It won't work. God said you can't serve two masters, right? It's talking about God and man, right? You can't serve both. You got to going to love the one or despise the other. Well, guess what? You can't even. It's funny how God always set it up as a dichotomy. It's always two, God and Satan, heaven and hell. It's funny how the Bible kind of works it out that way. Even with you, it's a dichotomy. You have two natures. You can't serve both. You're going to have to decide which one you're going to feed and which one you're going to let die. But remember, whatever choice you make, it's going to have ultimately salvation implications, where you're going to spend eternity. And not just that, this thing is such a utility for your family, not just for you, your family, and future generations. Because if you set the path, if you set the blueprint, this is a non negotiable. Yes, would your kids or your wife, would they always follow stuff like that? That's fine. But you have to stay rock solid. You have to stay grounded. Be that example. You're the head. God placed you there for a reason. They might struggle in their faith, but at some point, when they see your resilience, when they go through life, hopefully it doesn't happen. They can get it early. You will be that example they lean on and say, you know what? Dad and mom went through all of this, but yet, look at their faith. Yet, they stayed the course. And that's what it's all about. Every day is not going to be perfect. Will this race always be easy? Of course not. Would it be hard to change? Of course it would be hard to change. But I'm bringing this point up because I want people to know in your Christian walk, every day is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard as hell to break certain habits. Look at people who's on a weight loss journey. People just don't go cold turkey overnight. There's still people on their weight off journey. Every so often, they jump right back into that Haagen Dazs, right back into those cookies or whatever highly processed food that there is. But as long as you keep on putting one foot in front of the other, keeping in mind at some point you got to give all that bad stuff away, the food that you're eating. You will get there because Rome wasn't built overnight. But it's when you stop and you settle for that old self, then you will never get to your goal. I know going through it, it sucks because you want to get there tomorrow. You want to be a new person, new character, new faith tomorrow. But you're going to have to build it brick by brick. And that's the only way. And you will appreciate it. And God set it up that way because too many people think they're too righteous. They forgot where they came from. They forgot they themselves was once sinful in a piece of crap. Yes, Romans 3:23. For all have sinned, and we all the same height. Why? Because the next part says, for we all have fallen short. We all the same height. We all short in the sight of God. But so many people, because they have distanced themselves from when they was doing crazy stuff when they was in the world, and they rolling high. No, you don't do that. Humility, being compassionate, being empathetic to those who are struggling because you was once there. You got to be patient with people. Even Jesus, when he seen the fig tree, he said, give it some time to bear fruit. But Jesus is not going to give you unto perpetuity to bear fruit. We have all have an allotted time. Then after that, judgment. We're not going to live forever. While we're here, my reason for this is just not to set myself up so when I stand before God, he says, well done, not good and faithful servant. I want to be able, while I'm in Abraham's bosom. I don't know how much, I don't even know how time is, well, it won't be time. So I don't, that whole concept is just outside of my realm of thinking. But I will say this. I'm just going to use time as an analogy because I don't even know how to apply it to that place. But after some time has passed, I want to think like, man, it's been a while. Where's my boys? Where's my wife? I don't want to be like the rich young ruler. And I'm the guy on the other side in Abraham's bosom looking at the rich young ruler. And I hear a voice on the other side. And any parent will know you can have 1,000 kids saying dad, but your child's voice. I don't want to hear a voice on the other side. And I look and I can't believe it. My family's over there. And I'm the only one that made it. It will break me.